I have utterly defeated dense fanout by doing nothing. All benchmarks shown are performed on a Ryzen 5600X with one core pinned. One host, one process, one simulation thread, no sharding, no distributed workers. I explain every technique used to get here in my book, Dense Region MMO Server Architecture, a treatise in the discipline of not doing unnecessary work. Link in the description. The scenario for the benchmark is a dense all-to-all simulation, where we have a benchmark where everyone is in one square, effectively one chunk radius for subscriptions. This means if any player moves, any player does any action, it will be broadcast between every other player. We will run the simulation for 100 ticks and display those results. We will also show a variety of benchmarks with larger player counts, larger monster counts, and to wrap that up, we'll have some benchmarks from a Python binding. This is a benchmark for 20,000 players in that same scenario at 20 Hz. The average time taken to process a tick is 5.73 milliseconds. If you understand multiplayer fanout, you know this is massive. You can expect a lot of real-world indie MMO simulations to break down 50, 100 players, and numbers like 500, 1,000, 1,500, those are considered extremely dense simulations as it currently stands before this release. We're blowing this out of the water. This isn't even the limit. For our test, we'll consider 100 milliseconds the cap. Anything exceeding 100 milliseconds will be considered a breaking condition for the simulation. Technically, we still need to leave some time for the serialization and broadcast to the clients, but otherwise, this is a perfect simulation. Before we get to the limits, let's look at some other benchmarks. Here's 100,000 monsters with one player. These are metrics where all these monsters are sharing the same cell and where they're also crossing into other cells. This is our random walk. Naturally, in your game server, there's other costs to the simulation, pathfinding itself, so this is far from the end of the story, but it is a good picture. Now, this is going to get worse with players, so let's take a look at that. This might be what you've really been waiting for. As you can see, as you follow this chart, we are getting 230-fold the density before we break our condition. Compare that to a naive implementation, which buckles at 1300. Now, to note once again, the reason other simulations break down before this, even with the naive implementation, there's other overhead, there's other inefficiencies you can create, other duplications of work, things like that. So the real answer is I'm not getting 300,000, you're not getting 300,000, not on this hardware anyways. Realistically, you should leverage horizontal sharding at a point, but this allows you to keep the cost at least cheaper for your dense simulation. Even if you're not going to have 5,000, 10,000 players within an area that can see each other, it can still be cheaper. You can run this on cheaper hardware. Another benchmark, this time raising the players to 30,000, starting from 100. Let's go ahead and show those Python bindings. The loop is in C, everything is batched, so we actually get some really impressive results. Disregarding the simulation's benchmarks, in a real-world test on my game engine, I'm able to get up to 7,000 players with this Python binding. Once again, that's collecting movement updates 20 times a second. If you reduce this down to something like RuneScape tick speed at 600 milliseconds, then simply everything else in the system is a bottleneck before the simulation. And it probably already is. If you're going to try to render 10,000 players on a client, that's already a big deal for client-side render. With this, I rest my case. I have utterly defeated density fanout. If you would like to use this library in your game, here's the link to the repo. Make sure you read the license for the appropriate uses. You'll find also other useful features that are not available in any other engine out there, like kinetic data structures. And if you would like to understand more about every single technique used in the development of this, I have written a book for you. If you're also interested in MMOs, check out Ig Engine. Alright, that's it. Have fun.